And welcome back to the My Tehillim Time Jewish Women's Virtual Festival. Orly Wabi here, founder of Abraham's Legacy, and I'm so excited to be joining you on this beautiful, beautiful Sukkot, Moadim L'Simcha. I hope that you are enjoying your Chag tremendously. And this is day 17. We are in day 17, week number 5 of the My Tehillim Time Festival, and we're going to be going strong all the way through the end of October. For those of you that maybe are joining us for the first time, welcome. We're so excited that you've decided to join us. Don't forget, you could check out the entire schedule of the speakers that we're going to be having coming up, being able to enter into our raffle, and also be able to share your My Tehillim Time story all directly on our website, abrahamslegacy.com/sign up. I just want to give you all just a bit of a sneak peek at what's going to be happening towards the end of this festival. On October 17th, we are doing a finale event in the Zechut of Rachel Imenu, on the Yortzeit of Rachel Imenu, on October 17th, in conjunction with the Shabbat Project. It's going to be a 2-hour special from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Israel time. We're going to be joined by an incredible array of speakers. You will get to hear who those speakers are within the next week or so. And we're going to have our finale speaker, Rebbetzin Yemima Mizrahi, is going to end it off for us. We're going to be live streaming from the Kever of Rachel Imenu. We're going to have raffle prizes. We're going to be doing an incredible dance project as well. More details about all of this are going to be coming shortly, and I'll be sending them to you via email. If you haven't signed up, you can do so directly on our website, abrahamslegacy.com/sign up. You only need to sign up once, and then you'll be entered into all of the raffles going through the end of the campaign. Before I introduce tonight's speaker, just a couple of thank yous. I want to give a very, very big thank you to Naomi Jerno, my partner in Tehillim. I know that, Naomi, you're not feeling so great right now, so we're all going to have you in our tefillot over the course of tonight's Tehillim read. And Bezrat Hashem, you and your family will be feeling fantastic. And the Chag itself, the Simcha from the Chag, should give you a tremendous amount of refuah. I also want to thank all of you. I know that we're all busy with the Chag, yet here we are still together every night, and I'm just so excited to be seeing all of you. I want to thank all of our incredible speakers that have joined us throughout the course of this incredible event. And of course, I want to give a huge shout out to HASHEM for allowing me to continue doing this. As I always say, he's the CEO. I just happen to work for him. This event and the Abraham's Legacy app is in memory of my grandfather, Avraham ben Pauline. Just so happens that his Yortzeit is coming up on the 27th of Tishrei. So it's really coming up very soon. And Bezrat Hashem will all keep his name in our mind, Lilui Nishmato. I'll also be listing a list of names that we should keep in our mind during the Tehillim read. If you're here for the first time, very simple. What we're going to be doing in just a moment, I'm going to introduce our speaker for this evening. After our speaker is going to wow us with her very powerful words, we're then going to join together for a Tehillim reading through the Abraham's Legacy Tehillim app that will allow all of us to connect from wherever we are in the world and complete a book of Tehillim. So far, we've been completing one book each time, almost 2, which is really, really fantastic in a 6-minute period. After our 6-minute Tehillim read, we're then going to do our raffle for this evening. And the raffle for tonight is the 100% pure Copper Netillah cup. This makes for an incredible, incredible gift. And it also comes with an insert that explains why copper, what is the connection between copper and Netillah. So it's really, really beautiful. All right, we are ready for our speaker for this evening. And our speaker tonight is Yaffa Palti. And just to give you just a bit of background, Yaffa is a Rebbetzin. She's a songwriter, a motivational speaker. She's a trained educator, certified substance abuse professional, dedicated to Kiruv full-time. Now, she's a wonderful influencer and songwriter. And as a speaker, she lectures on many, many diverse topics, mostly motivational and inspirational, all of which are profound, enlightening, and unique. Yaffa comes from a solid Torah-observant background, and she was raised in a home infused with chesed and unconditional acceptance. Yaffa has been actively involved in community building, teaching, and inspiring thousands of women across the US and around the world for many, many years. Participants describe her classes and lectures as inspirational, motivational, and transformational. Yaffa currently lives with her husband and 5 adorable children in Miami, Florida. And we're very excited that she's going to be speaking to us tonight about the power of Tehillim to unlock your potential. So without further ado, I give you Yaffa Palti. Thanks so much for being here.
Hi, thank you for that introduction. Can it get any more Miami than the way I am sitting right now? I'm sorry that I'm coming to you so unsophisticated, but it is Chol HaMoed, and I am in a kayak with my family on the water. So I couldn't not give them this fun day of Chol HaMoed, but I also could not miss this incredible Tehillim event. So we are doing it all at once. So please excuse my attire. But I do want to talk a little bit about Tehillim, and my specific topic that was given to me is talking about how we can use Tehillim to unlock our potential, the power of Tehillim, what it is exactly. So first I want to talk a little bit about words themselves. That concept of words are so powerful. If you think about it, we just had Yom Kippur last week. This is the holiest day of the year. It is a day of our reflection, rectification, atonement. It's like this high, lofty day where we're compared to angels. So you would think that we would start off the day of Yom Kippur in this high, lofty place of atonement and of rectification and reflection. But instead, what's the first thing we do as we enter Yom Kippur? The very first prayer is what we call Kal Nidre, which is all about the promises we made. Like we're asking God to please annul the promises that we made that we didn't keep this year. We're saying if there was anything I said that I didn't mean or any words that I didn't fulfill, please make them as if they never happened. That's how we're starting off the holy of holiest days of the year. You know what? Yes, because it is teaching us the power of words. How powerful our words are, that if there was something that we said and we didn't mean it, we actually need to enter Yom Kippur rectifying the mistake of the words we said that we didn't keep, the promises we make. That's how important words are. So when you say a word, any word, you actually connect to that word and you learn a whole new concept based on that word, which is quite fascinating, by the way. This is part of why when we say Tehillim or when we daven, so of course it's important for us to pray to God using our own words and to talk to him because he's our father, and to talk to him just from a natural, organic place. But we also have these words that were prepared for us through David HaMelech or by the Sanhedrin, or whoever created all the words that we use in our prayers, because those words actually carry a lot of holiness inside them, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But any word, even in whatever language you speak, a word in the English language, why is it good to work on your vocabulary? Every time you learn a new vocabulary word, you speak, you say a word that's more sophisticated, you learn a new word, and then you learn a new concept and you connect to that idea, because that's how powerful the word is. Not only that, but words, our speech is actually what differentiates us humans between us and animals. It's what makes the distinction between us and animals. Because with words, with speech, we have the power to bring the abstract into the concrete. Because when we have a bunch of thoughts, floating around in our minds, they're not reality yet. They're just an abstract concept. As soon as they emerge from our mouths, they become a reality. This is something we need to be so aware of as we speak. What are the words that we're saying? What are the things that we say about ourselves? What are the things we say about our spouses? What are the things we say about our children, about anyone that we know? Because our words create reality. If you are constantly speaking negatively about yourself, you don't look good enough, you don't sound good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not capable enough, you're creating your reality. You make it into something real. When we complain about something in our life that's difficult, and if we keep complaining about it, we make it more real to ourselves. But if we're able to flip that script a little bit and flip the perspective and say positive things about our reality, positive things about our lives, focus on our blessings, focus on our gifts, focus on our abilities, right? Then we are creating a more positive reality for ourselves. So this is the idea of speech, of words. And in fact, by the way, and the beautiful tefillah that we say when we light Shabbos candles, I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. We say these words, Shetizakeni legadel. We are asking God that we should be worthy of legadel, means to raise our children, right? God, from the word gadol, which means to make big. So when we're saying Shetizakeni legadel, we're asking Hashem, help me raise my children to be Talmidei Chachamim, and they should have Yirat Shamayim, fear of heaven, and keep your mitzvot. But you know what else the Gadel can mean? And this is what I try to have in mind when I say this prayer. And I'm in the kayak now with my daughter. She doesn't know this. You can listen. What I have in mind when I say this is Shetizakini ligadel doesn't only mean to raise and to make big. Ligadel means to exaggerate. This is what I pray for. When I pray for my family, I say, Hashem, help me ligadel my family. Help me exaggerate the greatness of my family, exaggerate the greatness of my husband, of my children, because when I view them as the great people they could be, no matter how much they're getting on my nerves, no matter how frustrating they can be, if I can view them as their potential, if I can view them as the great people that I know they really can be and that they really are inside, then I'm going to start viewing them and I'm going to start relating to them and perceiving them as those great people. Then what's going to happen? What's the cycle after that? They're going to feel that I am treating them as those great people, perceiving them as those people. They're going to respond as those great people, and then they're going to become those great people, right? So the power of the perception of how we could create our reality all comes back to the power of words. Now let's get to Tehillim, the words of Tehillim. So we know that for over 3,000 years, more or less, David HaMelech, who is the author, most people agree was the author of Tehillim. I know there were some other people, Adam Harishon, whatever, other people who kind of, Moshe Rabbeinu contributed, but David HaMelech is the one who took everything and put it all together, and he's the main author of Tehillim. This book has been a traditional source of inspiration for so many years, but not only inspiration, it's been a source of inspiration, clarity, chizuk, comfort in difficult times for all Jews from all over the world, from all walks of life. And within these chapters, there's like 150 chapters of Tehillim. We expand an entire range of emotion. If you look carefully at the different parts of Tehillim, you will experience and you will feel joy, fear, excitement, confidence, yearning, despair, hope, peace, disappointment. Really, every possible emotion is there in Tehillim, and many more. And it's fascinating if you think about it, because any Jew at any point in time can just open up this book of Tehillim and they could relate and they could connect to any part of it, because this David HaMelech, who wrote all of this, anytime he was feeling anything at all, that's when he took to Tehillim. When he was feeling excited, he wrote a chapter on being excited. When he was feeling sad or anxious or nervous or scared, that he just kept writing. He just kept singing, right? So we're able to, it has this exceptional power, the effects of Tehillim, that we could connect through any emotion. Now, let's understand a little bit of unlocking the power of Tehillim, of our potential through Tehillim, a deeper understanding of how to unlock this power. After 120 years, when a person goes up to heaven and they are standing in what we call the judgment day, this is the day when, their whole life is going in front of them. They're standing in front of the King of Kings and all the angels up there. And, and we're standing there and we're going to be asked our name. And we are told that we might forget what our name is. I don't know, we'll be nervous, we'll be confused, we'll be, scared. We might forget what our name is. So there is a special pasuk from Tehillim that every single one of us has. I don't know if you're familiar with this or not, but each one of us has a pasuk that it correlates to our names. And it's a pasuk from Tehillim. How does this work? How do you know what your pasuk is? So it starts however you spell your name. My name is Yaffa. So my name starts with a yud and ends with a hey. So my pasuk is going to be a pasuk in Tehillim the pasuk starts with a yud and ends with a hey. In fact, my pasuk is Hashem, that's spelled with a yud yud. Hashem hatzila nafshi misfat sheker milashon remiyah. It's actually a pasuk about words and about speech, which I'm always amazed by. So this is the pasuk that we need to make it into Olam Haba. So of course, we have a few questions on this, which is, how does this make any sense? How are we going to remember who we are just by having those name of the pasuk? And how are we going to remember the pasuk if we don't even remember our name? So here's the thing that we need to understand: our mission in life is we were given. Okay, I'll start with this. The Arizal actually is one who explains this. The Arizal says that when we are born, we're given two names. Okay, the first name that we're given is the name that our birth name that we're given by our parents. Usually, those are the people who name us, and that is the name of Kedusha. It's our holy name. Okay, that name that we were given. Then we have another name, a name that was given by the Yetzer Hara, or the Sitra Achra. And this is the name that refers to our spiritual weaknesses. So we have our name, our birth name, that was given with divine inspiration to us, and that is our name of Kedusha. Or if you weren't given a Hebrew name that you choose, becomes your name of Kedusha, of holiness. And then there's another name that we have, which is symbolic of our spiritual weaknesses. Those are our negative desires, our bad midot that we have in our lifetimes. And they are what stand in the way of us reaching our potential, of us reaching the perfection, whatever level of perfection we're supposed to be reaching in this world. So what we need to understand is that our mission in life is not only to recognize our spiritual strengths and weaknesses, but it is to consistently work to uproot and to rechannel the negative while striving to get closer to and bring out the good in ourselves. This is our mission in this world. And since the essence of the person is included in his name, we know that both the person's spiritual strengths and weaknesses are included there as well. So when a person, after 120 years, the angel is going to be standing next to the person, and this malach, this angel, comes over and asks for your name. What is the angel really asking you? He's not really saying, what's your name? He's saying, how well did you recognize your spiritual mission in this world? And did you make an effort to fulfill it? That's really what this question is. And then, of course, the remaining question that we asked was, how will saying a pasuk in Tehillim help you in this effort, right? And as we said, if you can't remember your name, how are you going to remember the pasuk? So it could be that this idea, this concept, is touching upon something much deeper, much more profound. David HaMelech's greatest quality and strength was his connection to Hashem at all times, no matter what he was going through. And this is actually what helped him become the person that he became. If you know anything about the life story of David, which we're not going to get into now, we don't have time for this, but the David HaMelech, his entire life, he had the most difficult life of anyone I know. Even starting from birth, he was abandoned by his parents. He was rejected by everyone. He was chased after his entire life. Everybody wanted to kill him, including his own son. He went through so much difficulty, so many challenges, and he was able to not only, well, I'm sorry, they just almost knocked me off my kayak. Watch where you're going. Sorry. He was not only able to be okay, he reached an incredible level of perfection. He became the king of Israel, David Melech Israel. How did he do that? How did he have the confidence? He had such a troubled childhood. How did he develop his self-esteem in such a way? How did he become that great person? You know how? Because he connected with Hashem on every level, through every emotion. He knew that everything was coming from Hashem, and that Hashem believed in him, and he was able to get through anything through this connection with Hashem. In every emotion, no matter what he was feeling, right? So he was able to come out of every and any experience with a new understanding of himself and of Hashem, and he was able to reach greater spiritual heights after every single experience that he went through. Okay, and and that's not all, by the way. We're going to finish up with this, that King David, David HaMelech, his gift was that he knew how to take the wisdom that he acquired and attach a Hebrew letter to it. So when David HaMelech would suffer in whatever way, in whatever challenge he was going through, and whatever struggle he was going through, he would look into the letters and into the words of that tzara, of that difficulty, and he would compose a chapter of Tehillim from those words, right? Each one was a different letter that he related to. And he would take all of that, and that's how he composed each chapter of Tehillim. And it was revealed to him through divine light. He was able to do that. So he had this real deep connection with it. So this is how we understand the power of Tehillim, where it comes from, what it is. The words of Tehillim contain and conceal all the wisdom and the light of the Torah that David HaMelech was able to reach in his lifetime. And it's the reason that a Jew can say Tehillim even without understanding the words. Like, how many of us really understand every word we say when we say Tehillim? Most of us really don't. But it's still able to move all the things above, right? Just by saying the words of Tehillim, it creates our spiritual reality, right? We said before, words create your reality. The words of Tehillim create our spiritual reality. So the same is true for the words of learning Torah, but this is just the most basic level of saying Tehillim, okay? So I wanted to share this idea with you. Being able to connect through the words and to bring out our deepest potential through these words. Really to understand the deepest levels of who we are, the essence of who we are, to bring ourselves to greater heights, to higher levels, understanding that Tehillim is just the beginning. Because by the way, the idea of Tehillim is not just about saying the words. And this is very important for us to understand. I'm so sorry, there's a truck passing. Hope you could hear me. The idea of Tehillim is not just about saying the words of Tehillim. It's not about just saying them passively, like I'm just going to say the words, right? It's like, like don't read it just like it's like a book or a novel, but rather the ideal way is to study them, right? This project is allowing people to have more depth in what they're saying. It's about studying the words. It's about living the words. It's about connecting with the words, okay? So again, basic level, you can say the words and not even understand them, and you still move things up above because you're creating your spiritual reality. But if you want to really be changed through Tehillim, you want to reach your ultimate potential, it's so important to learn Tehillim, to try to study it and to try to connect. And again, you could connect on so many different levels and so many different emotions, any time and place and space and anything that you're going through. Tehillim is a gift from HASHEM that we were given to help us in any type of way that we're feeling. It's actually like a free, natural, available therapist. That's what Tehillim is. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope this was somewhat inspiring and relatable. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be here. I'm sorry that I'm sitting here on the water in a kayak.
Please don't be sorry. You were fantastic. I want to thank you so much, especially you're out there on the kayak. You're giving over such a beautiful, beautiful Torah, such beautiful words. And we're so grateful that you're able to join us, even on Chol Moed. I know how difficult that is. So thank you so much for your words. I know that you're with your family, so I don't want to keep you on longer than you need to be. We'll have you in mind as we're going to do our Tehillim read. I want to thank you so much, Yaffa, for myself and on behalf of all of us that are here and all those that are going to see this. Thank you for sharing these incredible words, that our words create our reality.
Words create our reality.
Remember that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Such beautiful words from Yaffa Palti. I'm so excited that she was able to join us. I do want to share a couple of things based on what she said, and then we're going to go right into our Tehillim read. First and foremost, the concept that our words create our reality. I mean, we know this, as we say every day in Tefillah, right? Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam. HaShem, all he had to do was speak, and boom, the world was created. Shows us the power of our words to really shift things in our lives. All we have to do is actually speak. This was the greatest gift that HaShem gave to us as human beings. In addition, being able to see the good in other people and being able to call them on that good. That's why HaShem calls us Am Segula. in the hope that he's calling us Am Segula. We're far from perfect. We know this. But by calling us Am Segula, he's calling into reality the fact that we're going to be able to hit that potential, the potential that we all have within ourselves to become the best version of who we are. I also want to mention one other thing, because she brought up the concept that each and every one of us have a pasuk in Tehillim. And at the Rachel Imenu event on October 17th, my aunt, her name is Sarah Israel, my aunt is going to be joining us. She actually was featured in Hidabrut. I'm going to be sending out her video, the video that they did about her via email. She knows the entire book of Tehillim by heart, but it's not just that she knows the entire book by heart. Any person that gives her a name, she will tell you your pasuk on the spot. She's going to be joining us at the Rachel Imenu event for approximately 10 minutes or so. So any of you that are interested also in, figuring out what is your pasuk, feel free. You'll be able to ask her live during that event and to be able to get your pasuk. Very often in the back of some sidurim that also gives you your specific pasuk, maybe doesn't have every single name, but they have many of them there. And I found what Yaffa said to be so just very, very fitting for me. My pasuk happens to be Im eshkachech Yerushalayim tishkach yimini, which to me has really been the entire essence of my being, because ever since I was a little kid, I dreamed very, very much of Yerushalayim. Out in Brooklyn, living in Brooklyn, but dreaming of Yerushalayim, but not only just dreaming of Yerushalayim, dreaming of the Mashiach, dreaming of the time when we're all going to be here together. And so, there's a tremendous amount of power to that pasuk and living that pasuk in our lives. So I just want to thank Yaffa for those beautiful words. And hopefully we should all take that in. I just want to say one more thing before we do our reading. What was interesting about what she said, and it came to my mind, David HaMelech wrote the Sefer of Tehillim, wrote the different perakim of Tehillim during all these different times in his life, of joy and sorrow, like she mentioned. So there is a power to these words. Not always do we have the words in our heart to express. Very often, sometimes, right, we can have feelings in our heart, but we don't have the ability to express them. As we say, la'adam arachei lev u'ma'Hashem ma'yaneh lashon. A person can have all the heart, thoughts in their heart, but only Hashem gives the person the ability to express those words so freely. But in a sense, we all have our ability, and again, to write our Sefer Tehillim. What do I mean by that? Obviously, we're not writing Sefer Tehillim of David HaMelech. But what I mean is that when we're sometimes experiencing different emotions, highs, lows, sometimes when we're experiencing lows, I've often found, and I've also had people reach out to me and tell me this, that they close themselves off from the rest of the world. Sometimes when we're feeling low, the last thing we want to do is interact with people. We don't want to answer the phone call. We don't want to reach out. People say, how come you don't reach out to me? It's because when we're feeling down, the last thing we really want to do oftentimes is reach out. We don't feel like we have the strength, but we have an emotion inside of us. We're experiencing something inside of us. So something that could be very interesting for us to try and do. And I realized that I do this only during one time a year. I happen to do this on Tisha B'Av. I have a book from 2005 that every Tisha B'Av, I connect very, very much to Tisha B'Av. I know we're talking about a day of happiness right now. We're in Sukkot, but still, Tisha B'Av, it has the potential to turn into a day of tremendous simcha. I sit down and I write my emotions, just now let them flow from me. There's a tremendous power that comes from that. And in a sense, that's really what David HaMelech did. He's expressing his emotions down onto paper. And very often we should take advantage of those opportunities to write our experience, to write what we're feeling in connection with Hashem, as though we're writing a letter to Hashem. I think it could do a tremendous amount for us. With that, I'm going to end. I'm sorry. I know I'm going a little bit over here. We are going to go into our Tehillim read, so be sure you stay with us. If you don't have a smartphone, grab a book of Tehillim, or just open your heart and you'll be able to share your words. And don't go anywhere, because right after the 6-minute Tehillim read, we are going to do the raffle for the Netillah cup. Okay, here we go. Thank you all so much for being on. On behalf of Abraham's Legacy, we are excited to lead you in a Tehillim reading, where each and every one of us, from wherever we are in the world, can easily join in and complete a book of Tehillim in unison within minutes through a very special app called Abraham's Legacy, Tehillim Together, in memory of Avraham ben Polin. To be part of the global Tehillim read happening now, download Abraham's Legacy on your mobile device from the App Store. available for iOS and Android. You can also scan this QR code with your phone. To scan a QR code, simply open the camera on your phone and hold it up to this image. A link will appear on top, which you can click, and it will direct you to download the app. I'll give you all a moment to download the app. Sign in, and in a minute, we will all click on the Start Reading button on the main screen, and each of us will receive a different perek from the Sefer of Tehillim so that we can complete the book and add to the global count. In the top right corner, you can click the icon to switch your language if you like. You'll also be able to see in real time the amount of people reading and countries reading. Don't forget, you'll need to confirm that you've completed the chapter. Let's put a few minutes on the clock to read in unison so that we can unleash the power of our combined tefillah. Tizku l'mitzvot.
קרבות עוד באוויר, עם עייף חובש פצעיו, יושב סופר ימיו, צעקות בושה בכל העיר, דור רוצה תשובה עכשיו, זכאי ולא חייב. בגוף עייף מכישלונות, בלב שבור לחתיכות, נחכה לך שתקבל פנינו. לך קראנו בלילות, ועוד נצעק ברחובות, רחם עלינו אבא הושיענו, הושיענו. זמן עובר כולם ממהרים, דור מחיש את פעמיו, רוצה הכל עכשיו, שמש בשמיים אפורים, עם בארץ אבותיו, נלחם עוד על חייו. בגוף עייף מכישלונות, בלב שבור לחתיכות, מחכה לך שתקבל פנינו. בגוף עייף מכישלונות, בלב שבור לחתיכות, מחכה לך שתקבל פנינו. לך קראנו בלילות, ועוד נצעק ברחובות, רחם עלינו אבא הושיענו, הושיענו. הגיע הזמן להתעורר, לעזוב הכל, להתגבר, לשוב הביתה, לא לחפש מקום אחר. הגיע הזמן להשתנות, גם אם פספסנו תחנות, אפשר לרדת, יש רכבת, חזרה לשכונות. הכל אפשר רק אם נרצה, המחפש תמיד מוצא, גם אם הוא נמצא שם הרחק בקצה. דלתות שמיים לא ננעלו, כשהבן קורא הצילו, אבא שבשמיים מגיע אפילו שעשינו משהו רע, הוא מוחל וסולח, מוחל וסולח, מושיט ידו לעזרה ונותן ברחמיו את את הכוח לתקן ולשוב אליו. הגיע הזמן להתחרט, אם כבר לברוח אז מאחת, אם כבר לקחת אז לקחת בשביל לתת. וזה הזמן להתקרב, לא לפחד מהכאב, ואם לתת אז כבר לתת מכל הלב. הכל אפשר רק אם נרצה, המחפש תמיד מוצא, גם אם הוא נמצא אי שם הרחק בקצה. דלתות שמיים לא ננעלו כשהבן קורא הצילו, אבא שבשמיים מגיע אפילו שעשינו משהו רע. הוא מוחל וסולח, מוחל וסולח, מושיט ידו לעזרה ונותן ברחמיו את הכוח לתקן ולשוב אליו. אפילו שעשינו משהו רע, הוא מוחל וסולח, מוחל וסולח, מושיט ידו לעזרה ונותן ברחמיו את הכוח לתקן ולשוב אליו. הזמן להתעורר, לעזוב הכל, להתגבר, לשוב הביתה.
And you can go ahead and finish the chapter that you're reading. I'm happy to say that we finished the book and we're already we're almost at halfway. I would say we're over a third way through the second book. So I want to thank you all for joining us. Don't go anywhere. We're going to do our raffle, of course. And of course, I want to just announce that next week we are going to have Sunday and Thursday, Bianca Benisti, and then on Thursday, Rebbitzin Orit Esther Ritter talking to us about Tehillim for Emunah and Bitachon. Bianca is going to be speaking to us about the power of Tehillim for Hodaya. We hope that you will join us yet again. We do have a WhatsApp group if in case you want to get a reminder that way. It goes out via the email reminders. You should see a link there in case you would like to join it. And now on to our raffle for the Tehillim Cup. So here we go. I'm going to just quickly share my screen. And this is the Netillah Cup that you will win. And let's spin our big wheel of names over here. And the winner for this evening's raffle, for today's raffle, is All Nations Welcome at Gmail. Very, very interesting name. I like the name of the email address. So congratulations. I will send you an email so that you can send me your address and I will get your Netillah Cup to you. Let's all remember that Tehillim, Tefillah, it changes us. And when we change, our world changes. Thank you all so much. Enjoy the rest of your Chag. Thank you for being here. And we'll see you all next week. Shabbat Shalom. Chag Sameach.